The idea that the three-way configuration of Man, Jinhan, and Binhan and of the three kingdoms of Goguryeo, Biki, and Silla said to have been handed down from Dangan, is connected to the trifunctional systems of Greece and India has recently become, together with Dr. Kim Jeng-min's Ray excavation of Eurasian ancient history, a major topic in the study of ancient history once again. The trifunctional system is the conclusion drawn as a common feature by the French structuralist anthropologist Georges Dumézil, who is said to have spoken 29 languages at first after surveying most of the civilizations of Europe and India. The Trojan War of Greece began with a system in which the three functions competed: Hera of religion, Athena of politics, and Aphrodite of production and beauty. The caste system of India, too, originated in the classes of the Brahmin of religion, the Kshatriya of politics, and the Vaishya and Shudra of production. Dumézil's trifunctional myth theory was carried on by Campbell, and is said to have become today the basic formula for the scenarios of Hollywood blockbusters. The trifunctional system became a major topic in East Asia because, at the time of the Meiji Restoration, it served as a theory justifying Japan's invasion of China. The trifunctional system also views China's Book of Changes and Three Powers theory as extensions of the trifunctional system, on the grounds that the Chinese had migrated from West Asia. If China migrated from West Asia, then China-centered history collapses. And even if China were to come under Japanese rule, it would not violate historical legitimacy. In Japan, the trifunctional system and the theory of the Chinese people's migration are said to still be the established view regarding China. In early modern Korean academia, which was under Japanese influence, the trifunctional system also became an issue, but it disappeared as China's influence grew, only to be re-examined again with a boom in ancient history, sparked by works such as the Hwangdan Gogi. Korea's Samtaeguk system, which appears in texts like the Samilsingo, seemed to be the origin of the trifunctional system. Park Young-suk of Dongduk Women's University, a leading critic of Korean art, and others long emphasized the trifunctional system, and Jang Hyungjin and others provided grounds for the migration theory, but decisive evidence remained lacking. Recently, Dr. Kim Jeng-min, by presenting materials on the trifunctional systems of Kazakhstan and Mongolia that had not been well studied in Korea, established grounds for revealing that the trifunctional system is a shared cultural heritage of the Eurasian network, not only of Korea, but, like Genghis Khan's Yuan dynasty, of the wider network as well. A distinctive research achievement concerning the trifunctional system was the idea that a hidden history of the trifunctional system lies concealed in the stories of East Asian constellations. Korean astronomy, recognized by Park Changbum as the origin of Chinese astronomy, is said to have hidden ancient history in the constellations and left it behind in the layout of the palaces of the Joseon dynasty. The reason the trifunctional system could serve as the background of East Asian astronomy is that it was the constitutive principle of the universe. To express the trifunctional system in terms of modern science, it refers to the horizontal, vertical, and three-dimensional functions that are fractally common to all things. Unlike the West, the East viewed the essence of the universe as circulation, as in modern physics, and, instead of atoms and electrons, expressed it as endless interpenetration, that is, the Taeguk, or infinitely nested circulation. The three functions are the vertical, horizontal, and three-dimensional movements that make circulation possible. The trifunctional system also became the founding principle of the three bonds and five relations. Among the three bonds, the father-son relationship is vertical, the husband-wife relationship is horizontal, and the ruler-subject relationship is three-dimensional. The heaven-earth-human three powers, too, are interpreted as heaven being vertical, earth being horizontal, and human being three-dimensional. Examining the transformation of the East Asian trifunctional system inscribed in the constellations, the earliest trifunctional system in Eurasia begins with the Yellow Emperor and Emperor Yao. The Yellow Emperor formed the three functions together with Qiyu and Shenlong, and the functions of politics and war were transferred from Qiyu to the Yellow Emperor. The Yellow Emperor, Qiyu, and Shenlong seem to be related respectively to the Sumer, Aryan, and Slav peoples, the peoples who lived together in Central Asia when humanity of that era gathered there. The trifunctional system of the Yellow Emperor, Qiu, and Shenlong, continued into the generation of Emperor Yao, with Emperor Yao, Dangan, and the Sun Miao people taking on the three functions, and it was Budo, the sacred capital built by Emperor Yao, that inherited even the function of religion to Emperor Yao. After the Yuan dynasty, China and Korea separated, and Korea continued as Mei and Jinhan, and Bin Han, which in turn continued as Goguryeo, Biki, and Silla. If the trifunctional system is the principle of cosmic change in the East, that is, the fundamental principle of the Book of Changes, the three powers, and the five phases, then it connects to the question of what grounds the origin of the calendrical system of the 10 heavenly stems, and 12 earthly branches, which is the concentration of the Book of Changes. The three powers, and the five phases, actually possesses. In contrast to Western astronomy, East Asian astronomy has the characteristic that each date carries a Ganji, rather than a constellation. For example, May 16, 2015, the reference date of this presentation, is the Yulni year, since a month, and Imjin Day. The Ganji of East Asian astronomy does not signify only the date, it serves as the standard for all affairs, including the study of fate, traditional medicine, and politics. There are two methods for verifying whether the Ganji assigned to a date by East Asian astronomy is valid: the method of verifying whether it is correct by actually applying it, and the method of verifying what the very first origin was. Since the former can be known through countless instances of history, it is set aside, and this paper examines the second method. The second method ultimately becomes the question of when the first Gapja year, Gapja month, Gapja day, and Gapja hour occurred, and of what that day was based on. Although countless East Asian astronomers have studied East Asian astronomy for ages, it is only in today's age of advanced IT technology that it has been revealed that midnight at the winter solstice of 663 was the first Gapja year, Gapja month, Gapja day, and Gapja hour. To be precise, by the principle of the calendrical system, it is not the Gapja year, Gapja month, Gapja day, and Gapja hour, but the Gyuhe year, Gapja month, Gapja day, and Gapja hour. By the principle of complexity science, this day neither repeats nor occurs more than once in human history. The phenomenon in the sky on this day was a Song Shiru, the gathering of the 5 planets of the solar system into one. And the record closest to that day is the Battle of Bikshan River and the rise of Islam. Furthermore, 600 years later came Kublai Khan's founding of the Yuan dynasty. 1,200 years later was 1863, when Chosun of Donghak was martyred, and 60 years after that was 1924, when one of the 60 Gapja cycle came to a close. The most striking of all is, after all, the Battle of Bikshan River. The Battle of Bikshan River is not well known in Korea, but in Japan it is greatly emphasized because it marks the point of separation from Biki. In the Battle of Bikshan River, the Silatang allied forces, by good fortune, defeated the Biki restoration movement allied with Japan, seen through the trifunctional system. It is the battle in which East Asia's trifunctional system of the Korean peninsulas, Goguryeo, Biki, and Silla, was converted into the order of China, Korea, and Japan. With the Battle of Bikshan River as the turning point, the ancient history that had been transmitted from Central Asia to East Asia disappeared, and the historical consciousness that each had formed its own state on its own became dominant. It is said that the Biki forces who went to Japan as a result of the Battle of Bikshan River crossed over to Korea again in large numbers during the Imjin War, following the Catholic believer Konishi. After the Spanish Armada, the supporter of the Old Catholic faith was defeated by England, which represented the Protestant faith. The Roman Curia dispatched Jesuit priests on a grand scale to China and Japan in order to recover through East Asia. As can be seen in the case of Matteo Ricci, the Pope's policy did not exert great force in China, but the weaker nation of Japan, aided by the matchlock technology learned from the Pope, sought to become the hegemon that would attack Asia and even India. The records of that time remain intact in the Roman Curia today. The role of the Imjin War, which was under the influence of Bikshan River, is likewise connected to the trifunctional system. After the Imjin War, the West, Having accepted the Eastern civilization conveyed by Matteo Ricci, Ray emerged as the political center of the trifunctional system. Japan came to represent the West, while Korea and China faced the crisis of civilizational extinction, and its after-effects have continued to this day, so that East Asia's cultural independence remains as yet incomplete.